Building in The Sims 4 sucks. It's not as great as everybody makes it out to be, especially if you played the previous Sims games. The first most triggering thing in the world I want to talk to you about is stairs and railings. These make me so angry you have absolutely no idea. So you want to do a nice porch, and we're just putting a nice railing, some fences on it. Let's say we want the porch to come out a little bit here too. First thing that annoys me, the way the fence just cuts off. Why does it cut off? The second thing that annoys me, let's say we put down a fence around the edge. As you can see, the fences are clipping. When we build an indoor staircase, as you can see, the railings are literally clipped totally through the wall. And again, if we want to put a fence around this, guess what happens? They totally clip. And you know another thing that annoys me about railings? That's right, I'm on a rampage today. When you put railings on, they apply it on both sides. You can't just apply it on one side. Check this out in The Sims 3. You can literally apply a railing on one side or in the middle. You can do different types of railings on the same set of staircases. It is honestly such a godsave when you are a builder. How we've downgraded in The Sims 4, which is supposed to be the best Sims building we've ever had, is beyond me. But let's say we want to create a nice open space above the staircase, and we want to make a nice space around here, which is just empty to put the railings. If I try and delete this floor, it deletes the entire thing. So the only way to actually combat this is to firstly delete the floor and then create a room around this area. So if I just put a thingy here and I put another one up here, and then I have to grab another flat square and put the flat square and drag it out. But as you can see, as I'm doing it, all of the walls are deleting themselves around it, and I can't just select like one square tile at a time. I have to choose one of these random shapes and pop the shape down. So especially if it's like a weird corner, I might have to grab this L shape and just move the arrows in. And then of course I have to rebuild all of the walls back around it. But when you do this, weirdly, it also deletes the roof above the area where you initially deleted the floor. So again, I have to get this flat square and then put another flat square over the roof and create an entirely new roof. And then finally, we have the open area. It just seems like such a long-winded way to do a simple thing. And for example, let's say you wanted to create a decking and your house has a triangle like this and you wanted the decking to come over. There's no triangular shape that fits in this corner. Instead, you've got to get this triangle and then just like cinch the triangle in to make it smaller. And then you've got to just move it into the space. Or if you just want to create a one-tile decking, it's very difficult because this flat square is 3 tiles. The next one we have a random L shape. So if you want to get a one-tile platform, you've just got to move this one in and change it around. It just seems so strange that we have to work with these random default shapes. Like, why is it these specific shapes? Flooring tiles in The Sims 1, 2, and 3 were actually so much easier. We didn't have this room tool, so you could freely place floor tiles anywhere you like. So I can make it big here, but I can also put random bits coming out here. Obviously, if you wanted to put another bit coming out super far, you would actually need to use a pillar in order to hold up the weight. But if you wanted to, you could always just remove the pillar and that bit will still be there. It's fine. And in this sense, building in The Sims 3 was a lot easier. As you can see, I can put some floor tiles around here perfectly fine. And I can really easily fence off the area around it too. And I just don't have to worry about placing different rooms. And whilst we're here, we may as well talk about platforms. The first thing about platforms is if you place a platform next to a wall, it deletes the wall, which is incredibly annoying and you have to put it back again. The next problem I find is things sinking into the platform, and it always seems to happen on the right side. So if I put this nightstand on the left, it sits on there fine. But if I put it on the right, you can see it completely sinks down. It is so annoying because if you do it on the left side, it doesn't sink down. But if you put it on the right side, it always sinks. And I just don't really know why it does that. Pillars are another thing that trigger me, and let me show you why. Let's say I'm just building an extremely basic square house right here, and I want to give it a nice half diagonal roof. Now, if I put a random pillar down like this circular pillar, I can grab it, and however hard I try and put it up, it will not go any taller. I can't reach to the top there. If I place another one on top, I can't make it any shorter to make it the same height. So it's just this weird empty bit. And then some of the columns have an arrow underneath and others don't. So to compare how they react differently, this one with an arrow under it can go all the way up. This one without an arrow can't go all the way up, so you have to duplicate it. But then when you duplicate it, it's slightly out of sync, slightly off-centered, and it kind of bugs me. And whilst we're here, we may as well talk about roofs too. Roofs are some of the most frustrating things in The Sims 4. Let's say I want to build a nice half-gabled roof that just goes around the edge of my build like this. From the outside, it looks okay, but when we go on the inside, you can see that the roof is clipping through. And yeah, we can resolve the issue by dragging this bit in here, which is fine. We've got rid of the roof on the inside. But let's say we want to use one of these roof trims and we want to use a nice thick one. As you can see, it is clearly literally very big and bold on the inside of the house, and it is very annoying. The reason I believe this happened is because we've done this open railing thing. It's just like one problem causing another problem. And as you can see on this side as well, the roof is clipping through. It's incredibly annoying. And the problem is they're not supposed to clip through. If I create a random building here and I put a roof next to it like this, as you can see, it doesn't clip through this exact room, but it clips through this room here because there's something wrong with it. And it's very frustrating. Don't you agree with me, Shanice? And you know, there's a very specific reason I bought Shanice and SpongeBob along with me today, and that's to show you that some build tools are actually locked behind live mode. Let's say you want to put a light in your room, but you find the light is either too bright or too dim or the wrong color. In order to change the color, which is, I feel like, a build mode thing to do, you first have to go in live/live mode. You then have to click on the light, click set color and intensity this light, and then you can change it, and you can change the dimmer and things. And then you can go back into build mode and edit it. It just seems so random that you have to go into live mode to change a build mode thing. Another thing kind of annoying, when you use the fountain tool, let's be honest, none of us ever use the fountain tool, but when we do, let me show you something that annoys me. When you want to use fountain things, sparkly things, nice water pumps, blah blah blah, it doesn't actually jet out any water until you go into live mode, which I understand because it's a live mode thing to see it working. It's just annoying that you can't see exactly how it works without going into live mode, because what if you're not building a residential lot and there's no sim that you can put on the lot in order to test it? It's just such a ball ache that you first have to create a sim, move that sim into the lot before you start build mode, especially if there's a commercial lot. It makes it so much more difficult. Not all of my problems relate to building, but also decorating and interior design. The Sims 4 has the biggest build catalogue of any Sims game ever. Even the base game has over 1,000 items. It's really in depth, yet we only have this 2-tile menu to see them all. Trying to scroll through all these items within this such a small space is so annoying. Let's take a look at The Sims 3. We can actually click this button here which says increase the catalogue size, and it just makes it a little bit bigger, which makes it so much easier to look through things. The next thing, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. So there are actually some secret objects that exist in The Sims 4. You type bb.show hidden objects, then all of these random hidden objects show up. Now some of them are hidden for a reason. For example, we have some collectibles, we have some random objects that are only really used as decorations. Other things, however, I'm not too sure. When we look at rocks in the game, there are only 4 base game rocks, not enough in my opinion. Just look at all of these rocks we have here. Some of them are absolutely huge, but you can size them down using the left bracket key and actually use them in different builds. Granted, some of the textures are not the best, but some of them are actually really good. Oh my god, that one is literally huge. Obviously, you don't always have to use the huge ones. There are some much smaller ones too. I just find it so bonkers that these are all hidden, yet we only have just a few in the base game that we can barely use. Like, this is really, really useful, and most people don't know how to get all this stuff. We also have some random debug plants, like this debug bush here, or this debug tree here, both of which are not available in regular build mode. I understand, as I said, some things do need to be hidden by debug, like cheat objects, but when it's stuff like this that we can actually use in the game, why don't they just let us have it? If you want to see any more of my rants about build buy mode in The Sims 4, watch this video where I rank all of the curse and crazy build mode items. See you in the next one.